long journey home. I think was the idea came from a couple of the ladies that were participating in our workshop last December, and they talked about wanting to go back to the school that they attended, which was Bishop Borden Hall, way up in Moose Factory. The school is no longer there, but we went to visit the site where it was, and also to meet some of the schoolmates they had. I guess some of the people that I went to school with, and to sort of reflect on the changes that happened to them because of that residential school experience. I guess one of the things that never happened to a lot of us when we came home was that we never really came home because of the number of years that we were at school. We came back different people. We looked at things in a very different way because a lot of us were removed from our communities for quite a number of years. And some of us lost the language, some of us lost our connection to the community, to the land, and we never really came home. We tried to be as authentic, I guess, as things were back in the 1960s when those people went to school. We tried to use the same kind of translation that they used, even though, we flew them out from Waiwikwe to Nakina. The railroad doesn't run from Nakina to Cochrane anymore, so we used vans, we used vehicles to get to Cochrane. But once we got to Cochrane, we got on the train there. In my community, when it was time to leave school, it was either the end of August or the beginning of September. And I guess the priest had a lot to do with it. I remember my parents would take us back to the community around the end of August, the beginning of September, and telling us that we had to go to school. I had older brothers and sisters that went for a number of years before I went. And a plane came, the day the plane came, and everybody was sort of loaded on the plane. They didn't really have any seats or anything like that, so you just sort of packed you in on the plane. People sat on the floor and those kind of things, and there were quite a number of children in one plane. Sometimes they were really packed, and as much as they could fit in there, I guess.
When we left that first time, we were all running down to the plane, hopping on the plane. And just the two of us, me and my sister. And that my older sister said she wanted to go, but my parents only let two of us go. That first time we went to Pelican, Sulacout. I was about 5 years old or 6.
And I don't remember where I was going, where I was heading. I just know I was on a plane. That's all I know.
There's another kids all there. Maybe I don't know how many kids there are on the plane. Then they put me in there. You know that plane is as a cheap walk. They put me there. Well, no window. I didn't even look. Straight to Port Hope to Moose Factory. I don't know how many hours, maybe 2 hours, without no window. Just lay down.
The planes were very slow at that time, and it took quite a while to fly from Webequid to Nakina. And that's how you would go to school. You fly to Nakina, then you would get on a train from there.
I remember we were in Nakina, and they put us up for the night at Nakina Hotel. Then I remember we got up very early in the morning to get on the train, and I felt very tired from the night before. I guess we were running around the halls and playing around like kids, because it was new for us staying, I guess, in a hotel with just a whole bunch of other kids. Feeling kind of scared because it seemed like a long ride.
If you're going somewhere and you don't know where you're going, and don't know where it tells you where you're going, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of, you're scared, eh? I mean, you're scared when you're 4 or 5 years old. Especially if you never left home before, and you're going to all those strange places and getting on rides that you never see, things that you've never seen before. And that can be very scary and dramatic for little children that were 4 or 5 years old at that time. And I think that's a lot of us remember that.
I don't remember eating or drinking. They must have fed us, but I don't remember that part. And what I remember most was just sleeping on the train.
So it was a very slow ride. And I think Cochrane, from Nakina to Cochrane, is about a little over 200 miles. So that would have been quite a trip for young children. And once they got to Cochrane, I'd imagine that they would get on another train to get to Moosonee. The Polar Express at the time it was known as. And again, that's a very long ride. And in present day, the speed it goes, I think it takes 3 to 4 hours to get there. But at that time, it would be a longer at that time.
And when we got to the place where we're going, we got. I guess somebody was waiting there, and they kept saying names, calling out names. And I guess that was just to check up on the kids to see if everybody was on board.
I don't remember too much about, those long train rides and where you had anything to drink or eat. And there were no adults around to chaperones or to make sure everything was okay. There was nobody to look after you other than some of the older kids that were around. And at times, if you traveled alone, they would put a sign on your neck, telling you somebody would read it and let you off where you're supposed to, let you know where you're supposed to get off and that kind of thing. So and that's the way it was, and a lot of times you're on your own, other than maybe an Indian agent or something like that to make sure that everybody got on a train at some point of where you got on a train, and make sure that everybody got on a train. But more or less you were on your own. Yeah, I guess one of the things that happened in residential schools, and one of the things that was lost was the part about ceremonies, even though that might have happened before because of the influence of the missionaries and outlawing of the ceremonies. We thought it would be, important to incorporate some of the ceremonies as we went along.
It was just taking some time to pray. The little bundles that we passed out to the women, they contained the 4 medicines, and we felt that because it's going to be a really difficult journey for them, it was important that they knew that the Creator would be there to help support them, and all I did was ask for prayer for each one of them, and asking the Creator to help them in a really special way, so that whatever triggers and whatever memories that cropped up for them wouldn't overwhelm them, or wouldn't they would be able to handle the memories, and especially the painful memories, and just asking the Creator to hold them in His love, to be able to walk through their journey.
I had a call last week from a local coordinator that mentioned that there were 9 people coming from another community from northwestern Ontario, and there were residential school survivors. And she asked me if I could light a sacred fire for the people that are coming here on the grounds of the old residential school. That school was called Horden Hall. And right here on the grounds where this fire is was the old building of the old residential school called Horden Hall. And I sat with this feeling of the sacred fire and what it meant, what it was going to mean actually. Because for me, I just felt whatever the Creator is going to open up, and the Spirit, that's the way this ceremony or fire is going to go. But basically the fire, what the fire represents is that first spark that the Creator gave us before anything else came. There was nothing before that. It was a spark that the Creator gave, and it was the fire. That's what this fire represents, that first spark the Creator gave. In our language, it's called Bamatsion. It's life. But in order to go back to the feeling of when you're young, when the Creator gave us that first spark in our life, it was pure. And my mom explained this to me about the fire, the life, that spark of life that the Creator gave us as people. Everything's in that fire, that skodel, that spark. She said, language, the culture, the spiritual belief, everything is in that fire that the Creator gave. And it's up to us to open up our hearts where that fire is. Each and every one of us, that's our understanding, my mom said. And it's simple. My mom says, it's not hard what the Creator gave. It is simpleness. And that's everything in there. Love, respect, all those things that are attached to the strength of a person's spirit and body, the mind. And this is, I think, what happened to the residential school people too, our people. It's like a scissors to that understanding. A thread to our culture, our ancestors, that thread of life that we're connected to our grandfathers, grandmothers. It's like being cut like a scissors. But coming here today, and with this fire, it's going back to that light, that fire that the Creator gave. And that's what I feel has happened here today. And the blessing of this ground, because many of our own people walked this ground too, have went through this residential school and away. But not only the people sitting here today are feeling that, many of our people are feeling it.
We thought we would use the blankets in a way of comfort. When you wrap, when we were children, a lot of us were raised in Tikanagans, and we were all wrapped up in. And as we were growing up, when we were little children, it felt very safe. It kept us warm, kept us away from the elements, and it's sort of our protection from all of that. So, and being wrapped up in a blanket, and we one of the ceremonies that they did during the trip was to use the blankets and wrap the participants in a blanket, and I think that was very powerful experience.
Years back, I had this vision, a dream, very strong, that people in blankets were walking, coming out behind a hill with a light back there, coming, and they were covered. And I told my mom about this, and my brother, one brother, and they said there's people gonna be coming. And she said, don't think about it, because one day it will. And that's how the Creator works. Because you have to trust and believe, have faith. I think this is what I'm trying to say to the ladies too, and other people. Have trust, faith, that your spirit wakes up. Your spirit wakes up, and that heart, the fire that the Creator gave, you open it up. My mom said, we were all given spiritual logs to put on that fire. If we could find one, we can find them all. But it's up to us to find that spiritual log in each and every one of us.
And one of the arrangements we made while we were going to spend time in Mosinee and Moose Factory, we had arranged to be there at least 3 or 4 days. And somebody had mentioned that they had a camp out about 10 miles away from the community, and that means that we had to go out there and travel by boat, a nice boat ride to go out to the camps and spend a few days there with the survivors to give them a chance to reflect and to deal with whatever issues that may have arisen because of that visiting the old school site and that. And it meant camping out, no electricity, and I think it's kind of roughing it there for a bit.
I still picture in my mind sitting on my bed, crying. Just see myself alone sitting there. Traumatized, I guess, when I first left. I guess the first time I left, I guess I was 7 years old. That's when I first came to this residential school here in Moose Factory. And I only remember bits and pieces that I came along with my older brother, but I don't remember him the whole time.
There's 3 brothers and 2 sisters plus me. That 6 of us together went to residential school. I don't remember seeing them once for the years I went out. Not even once.
How did that make you feel?
It's very sad, and I was so lonely. I thought I was alone because I didn't see any my siblings when I was over there. It was so sad.
I came here because I really wanted to go see the place where I went to school. For a long time I wanted to come back over here because it's my second home, I guess. And I really wanted to see the place where we went to school, and I guess we were raised there too. It's hard. Sometimes I can't open up or say things yet, but I'm trying to do that.
When I came to school here in Hordenhor, I didn't get any trouble. Trouble like spanking and straps. I didn't get that. I really like coming to school here for myself. Everything was treated me nice here. I saw lots of students get punishment, straps and,
like spanking and getting the strap or the belt, or just being pulled by the ears when you don't understand or stuff like that.
if you don't do what they wanted you to do, you get punished. My memories is that I was afraid. I was so afraid the way I was treated over there. Sometimes I still have flashbacks. I got a lot of anger too now.
Because that's one of the things I was ashamed of, being who I was. We were told that we were no good. And our ways were not good. Our ways were bad, the way we did things back then. Even our language. Almost lost my language too.
When we speak our language, they wash soap, the bar of soap in our mouth, because I guess they didn't want us speaking our language.
Gagi wijigikken homogo. Ganjigikken magon nittam gaishanede. No ine gondana gijog do ebekwen ganjiot. Ke dash gimegen mag nittam ine gogagi wijog gogonog nije ikweok gagijogo. Agi omagawete. Ego dash deda gongisse giske me got kagian. Gikotach.
This is my memory box. Ma itibinamak agi ka gegon gagi yosibihamag ma kagi mamini tiang. Hoy this box hoy. Uma kini gagi pisan uma mos patri egi pijaga uma gagi kasi kinomoindo ki ni winda guma ni na se de bakkan ni samen residential school. Ego this is a pordic going support no damen uma gagi tajat ikikenda mang aninge pizza nagak ihwe umagagi piges kada goena umagagi tasi kikin moinda ke no ke gagi pizza go asangi kene magi gun egi nenda moade he oedega piges kad igena umagagi tasi school gagi saat.
I hope that our language will still be spoken to in the future, because that is what makes us who we are.
When we went back home, we didn't know our parents and our siblings. Like my mother used to tell me that I was like scared of my parents when I went back home, and crying and scared of everybody because I didn't know them.
But when I did go home, they were like strangers to me. I didn't remember that they were my parents or my other younger siblings. With my parents, I still don't get along with them because I felt like they didn't want me. They didn't want me. That's how I felt. And that I was, when I tried to learn something what they used to do, like traditional stuff, they always tell me that I won't do it right or that I wasn't able to do it. That really put me down. Stuff like that. And
Was that because you'd changed?
yeah, I guess. The way I was talking, and especially with the meals too, that I didn't really want to eat what they were eating. Like I remember I had to follow a routine, but I didn't get that when I was at home. So I was kind of mixed up. I kept saying to myself, I wonder if I should do this or do that. But when we were ready to come out again, I was excited. I was excited to leave my parents and my family. Like I felt like I didn't fit in with them.
Even the connection and bond I had with my parents, I still have a hard time getting it back. Even though I know that they are my parents, they're still alive. I have a hard time getting close to them. And it's the same way with me. Well, when I was raising my children too, I could never get close to them, like tell them I love them and hug them and all that. But in my heart, I do love them.
I didn't really know how to raise my kids.
It affected me as in that I wasn't able to express or show my love for my children that I had. The physical part, like hugging them and kissing them and saying I love you. It had affected me in my ability to communicate with the other people around me. I was always waiting for someone to tell me to do this, to do that. I could never make my own mind. I thought I was a white girl too. That's how much I got brainwashed, I think.
Sometimes it's really hard time to talk about, but I try. You know what this when the boys were doing, fighting or raping. That's what I had a hard time for me yesterday. I was thinking about that school, behind the school. It was a hockey ring in there. Then the boys grabbed me and tried to rape me in the hockey rink. Then I fell down. Then it hurt my back, I guess. Then I was sick. That time I've been in the hospital every 2 weeks. Didn't even have time to go to school. And then don't you know my go in school, he on the map in the end. She can gagi Swiss Sagishnan, gagi tota shot na besak. Mate ham bani go here, I can see David been shopping. Then after that, school was open. Over about June. They left me in there. Everybody went home. I'm just wondering why they left me here for 2 weeks before I go to Toronto. Then I went to Toronto about 5 months. Then they to me X-ray everywhere my body. What's happens to me? Then they found it, what's going on in my back and my down below my tail, I guess. Then they put me operation about 5 inches wide. That's what happens to me when I go to school, resident school. That's the second time I went that happened to me. The first time it was nothing. I was then the second time that's what they happened to me. I was raping is really hard to forget. It's really hard time to forget those boys, whoever who did it to me. I try to talk, but it's really hard for me.
One of the purposes of these women coming down for their journey back to their place of, I guess, their schooling in the residential school was to regain some of the losses that they experience as little girls, I guess. And one of the things that always happens is in our healing journeys is that we always need to go back and take that little girl back that was traumatized, and reassure her that as adult women and as adults that we can protect them, and that we can look after them and love them as they should have been loved, and that completes any healing journey. Is when we're able to go back and take our little selves, take the little girls or little boys, and bring them home to our hearts, so that they don't need to be suffering or experiencing any more trauma, or being afraid or being lonely, because now they'll be a part of us. And I think that's really important for anyone on their healing journey, to have that completeness, and to be able to feel that love and that security that all of us, I guess, look for in our life.
And that's the thing that we have to share, because it is an experience, a painful, traumatic experience. But at the same time, it's a journey that we have to be on. And that walk is painful. But as we walk, every step, it turns. Every step turns. You know that healing is starting. And this is what this first healing is. It's a fire that the Creator gave, is to open that heart not to. There's too much around pain, traumatic experience of what happened. I think our people feel that. Even our young ones today feel this experience that they didn't even go through. But it was their grandfathers, their parents, their grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers that went through it. But they're feeling this experience that they've never personally went through it, other than the fact that their family went through an experience and it was passed down to them, like me too.
I just count it a real privilege too. This is the first time I've ever actually gone back with other people going on their healing journeys to the place of where they went to the residential school. And for me, it's just been awesome to watch them and to sometimes feel their pain, but at the same time feel the power that they have. And so it's been really a good experience for me too.
First time I thought I was the only one who was having a problem. Then when I go to the workshops, and that's where I found out that I'm not the only one.
Personally, I guess it was helpful because I decided a long time ago that I was going to try to deal with it. I was always curious why I felt the way I was feeling through the years.
I felt good because I really wanted to go back to see where I went to school. I just want to say, I had a good time on that trip, and with those ladies that we went with, they made us laugh and with all their jokes, and it was a good trip.
The trip was good. When I came home, I felt like the weight was not as bad as before. When I was out there, I was more open up, talking when we did our sharing circles or in the cabin where we stayed. We did a lot of sharing, so it felt good to let out our feelings. Especially there was a lot of laughter.
Yeah, it's a good trip to me. Walks up and with another woman. They're all funny. Laughing, it's very...
I would like for these other survivors to get to know themselves in whatever way they find for themselves to heal. And it's a lifelong journey.
I think they really enjoyed the experience, and they got a lot out of it. And I think that they were so enthusiastic about the trip that they want to go another one again. Where they had mentioned that some of them had went to another school way back way up in Mohawk territory down there. So and they talked about going down there as well. So I think they really enjoyed it, and they really got a lot out of it.
My spirit name is Hummingbird Woman. Nangwesi Kwendigo. Mingisido Dem, Eagle Clan. Now I know I can stand on my own 2 feet. I'm getting to know more of me, and I still need to do more stuff, like visiting the other residential school I went to that I haven't been to yet. But I know I'll make it there one day. That's all I can say. I hope that you too would make that journey for yourself. for your children and grandchildren, so that they'll know why we are the way we are, and for them to know that it won't happen to them ever again.